Hi, it's Nikki here. It's the day after the World of Learning Conference and Exhibition. And I'm just doing a little follow-up video just on the reflections from the event, just to kind of pull everything together. So I think there was 7 little videos that I did over the course of the 2 days. And I suppose I want to cover off 3 things. 1 is, why did I decide to go? 2, what kind of themes did I see while I was there? And 3, what were my key takeaways? So in terms of why did I go, ultimately it's just continual professional development. It's making sure that as a freelance trainer, consultant, learning and development professional, whatever title you want to give ourselves, that we are taking the time out to develop. And that's as good a place as any to do it. Lots of different people there, lots of different thoughts, lots of variations on the same theme. So you get quite a good grasp of, is this just something, you know, it's kind of something that's in the moment now, or is this something that's got some longevity to it? So that was the reason why I went. Some of the themes that I did actually pick up on, one in particular, I think drove throughout all of the seminars and the exhibitions and things like that, is that as an L&D professional in the past, I think I felt as though I was what? Very much being told to get on the digital bandwagon. Almost finger wagging in the past. I think that those days are kind of well and truly gone, because we get it. We know that it's going to happen. Business is slow on the uptake for it, mainly because they're paying people to do this stuff, and now they're having to pay for more in terms of technology and LMSs and things like that. So there's a balance there to be had, and change is slow, as we all know. So certainly as L&D professionals, we don't need telling that anymore. It's just a case of how do we actually get that across to the business. And it was much more about, so where are the solutions? What are the different types of solutions? And how should we be actually looking at those solutions in an L&D way, rather than just thinking about what the hell am I going to introduce into my business that's actually going to work? So that was good. And the other thing that I started to notice was there was much less in the way of theories and models and very structured ways of doing things, and much more about the conversation, about engaging in what I'm calling conscious conversation. Now, I don't know whether I've subliminally picked that up from somewhere. It may already be a thing, or I've just made it up. Perhaps it should be curious conversations, because then it would fit into my branding. I'll hashtag both, see what happens. Either way, it's about those conversations, about how you facilitate them, and just about having them. And the fact that we are in such an age where technically some would say we're not able to do that quite yet in a way that's meaningful. But it's about bringing the balance back again. And certainly when we're talking about leadership and engaging with that particular group of people, I think there's a lot of going back to basics almost, about where are those conversations taking place, because everybody is so busy doing everything else. So yeah, conscious conversations. I'm going to do a little bit more thought around that, but that's certainly some of the kind of buzzwords I think that I'm starting to hear. Some of my key takeaways, I wrote a few down on my little notebook here. So the first one was a conversation that took place in a seminar that I think could have been a lot bigger in terms of the conversation, but ultimately it was around retention of memory. And my challenge, and other people's challenges in the audience, were around, are we asking people to remember too much? It's like inductions that are 9 weeks long, where they're expected to know the ins and outs of absolutely everything. Why do we need to know that, when we could put an infrastructure in place that allows people to go, I need to know this, this and this, and I've got it? Because let's face it, that's what we do when we're at home. We go onto a search engine, or we go onto YouTube and we go, how do you do it? And we get shown, or we get told, or you can speak to somebody about it on a little chat box. We seem to have, the gap seems to be quite wide at the moment between what we're doing at work and what we're doing just as human beings, and I think that needs to close, certainly. Nudge was another interesting point for me in one of the presentations. So this is less about full-on L&D, and it's more about getting people to think for themselves, but doing something that enables them to do that. That sounds very vague. In the presentation that I saw, that in the example that was given was, I think I mentioned this in one of the videos, was about when you're driving down the street and you've got a happy face or a frowny face. That's a nudge. Chevrons on the road was something I noticed on the way home last night. You know, keep two chevrons space in between you for braking. That's a nudge. So that there's loads of those kind of things where you're not feeling told to do something and you have to do something. It's there to remind you and for you then to make the conscious decision about whether or not you're going to do it. Talking about conscious and unconscious. Unconscious bias was something else that was brought up in another seminar, and that was around those thought patterns of what is it that you're making decisions on that there is an unconscious bias towards that you're just not aware of. And we all have them, but it's working out what it is. And I don't think that's something you can do on your own. So I think that's something that certainly as L&D professionals, coaches, mentors, all that kind of stuff, that would definitely come into play around that. And building a community, and this was talked about in a digital context, but actually that whole process of having other people around that can support and develop, and it's much about the less formal aspects of learning. It feels like another thing that's coming through, and not the structured stuff. So that's it really. That's my roundup from the World of Learning 2018. It certainly gave me some pause for thought on certain things, and I'm sure that I'll be trying some of this stuff out in some of the design and delivery work that I'll be doing, and possibly even in the coaching and mentoring work that I do too. And when I do that, of course, I will share some stuff. But for now, if you found these interesting, please, I hate saying comment, like, or share, but you know what? Do, because otherwise it just feels like you're talking to yourself. And I do enjoy doing these, but I'd like to think they're actually of some value. So do let me know, and also let me know what else you want to know about, so that when I'm heading up to the next exhibition, conference, or learning and development activity, then I can talk about that too. So for now, that's my ramblings over and done with. I wish you well in all things L&D, and I'll catch up with you soon. Cheers now. Bye.